Better than I was. Let's sit right here.
Here?
Yep. Okay. So, I think I told you this last night. What we're doing here is this is pre-production, pre-alpha.
Mm-hmm.
This is not even production level ready.
Mm-hmm.
So, a couple things that I want to just go over real quick. Confidentiality conversation that we have with everybody. I have to say it. I would ask that you agree that you will not share this information, talk about it, tell people about HP tuners, SCT, EFI Live, Psych, any of those. Don't tell any of them what we're working on.
Of course.
This is highly confidential between you and PowerTech.
Perfect.
To see what's going on in here.
Yep.
And then the follow-up question is, what is? I don't need a good answer. I don't need an answer that inflates us here. What is your actual favorite tuning software? Which one do you think does the best job?
Does the best job would be Diablo for editing and the ease of getting around it.
Okay.
But for data logging, HP tuners, hands down.
Okay. Got it. All right. Then let's get started. Go ahead and open a Dodge PCM and TCM calibration.
I'm guessing this is new tuning session.
So new tuning session is like a whole reset.
Okay. So
let's go to load calibration.
Okay, so this looks like this DS downloader. Okay. That's an 08 Grand Cherokee.
And then how do you think you can add the TCM file to that?
Well, I'm guessing this button up here.
Yeah, let's go back in there.
If I want to add another calibration, controller 2, select tune. That's Hellcat.
And they don't have to match. Just pick that TCM file there. There you go. So how would you expect would be the easier or most intuitive way to select two controllers to do this? Did we do it right? Did we hit the mark here?
Just looking at it as, it doesn't jump out at you like, hey, this is the process. It just doesn't jump out at you.
Okay.
Like not at, like with TMR, like it's like, file open.
Right.
Or it's got the dialog box already. So the dialog box kind of leads you like, okay, this is what I need to know.
Mm-hmm.
This is what I need to know what you want to do. You're obviously using me to tune.
Right.
This is where you tell me what. This is where you tell me what you're tuning.
Okay. So what would you envision like to show you?
I'd put text up here.
Okay.
I put text up here that tells you, select. I'd put a second button here. So select engine tune, select transmission tune.
Okay.
The specified fixed file I really like. The only limitation that you have with this is, again, like with the HP tuner stuff, so I could open up, even if they're in different phases, so I can open up a 2011 5.7 calibration, and I can open up a 2011 6.4 calibration. As long as the names match. In the comparison, it'll show me what the differences are. So I could essentially take a, perfect example. If I'm doing a 2015 GPEC 2A in a scat pack,
Mm-hmm.
and I want to put all the Hellcat timing tables in it, and do that in a few easy steps.
Right.
Where you can't even do that with CMR. Because even if you made a cal file, something that's happened in CMR lately is if the table sizes don't line up, it won't copy the parameters over anymore.
Mm.
It's like perfect example. This morning I made a cal file from a 2015 JPEG 2A and went to apply it to a JPEG 2. It put everything in that was similar needs, but it didn't put the injector pulse with it because the table sizes are different. And like in 07, and I'm sorry if I'm getting off topic on this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this helps you with this or not. But
so let's save some of that stuff. Yeah, it does actually. Those features and those basically you're saying the template should be ID based, not name based, or an ID or name based, not address based. I heard someone else say that today, and I think that basically means that way you can. Because right now, if the addresses and the size of the table don't match, you can't overlay them against each other. So let's go. Let's just open this file, and let's view only the changed parameters. And I want you to look at and open up the Watt Spark table.
so right now you want me to open up the Watt Spark.
I want you to look at only changed parameters. Or actually, you know what? Just go to. Let's not even look at the open changed parameters. Let's just look at the Watt Spark table. So that.
Oh, okay. Well,
that one's for you, Jim.
Show change parameters. Here we go.
Yeah, so open up the Watt Spark table then from that, because this is actually a factory file. You didn't do a tune file, it's just a backup. Okay, so then in this table, there's some. We don't have all the toolbar buttons done yet, so we have some hotkeys. Select that whole table and add the smallest increment to it 3 times, smallest available increment for the whole table.
So no more right click.
Right click. It's just not. It's not available yet. It's not that it's.
Oh,
yeah. We
okay.
just. That's why you got to use that. It will be there, but we're pre-production, so it's just. You know.
Oh, okay, okay. Didn't do anything.
Are you selected in the table still?
I selected.
So just select that whole thing. There you go. Try it again. There you go. Okay, so then let's look at that as a 3D table. We can get rid of that. Yeah, don't worry about that. Just do it a different way here. Now let's manipulate this table a little bit. You know, zoom it, twirl it.
Do it with keys.
You can do it. You can use the mouse. Right click. And here's some info on how to control it.
It's funny. I don't normally use
I've never messed with that. You can just rotate it around, zoom in and zoom out. You can pinch and zoom to zoom in and out. Right click and drag to move around.
You can. Oh, there we go. That's what I was expecting it to do initially.
You can pinch and zoom on the pad.
Really? Oh, no kidding.
So what, as you're looking at this, what do you like about this map mode, and what do you think needs work here?
Are you able to click on the 3D and edit from there?
Yeah, we have a bug going on right now because we're doing a screen share. It's not select. There's a highlighting area here that happens. It's just not. It's not for whatever reason we can't see it.
I like the depth of the 3D. You can really see the dips and peaks and valleys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you'll be able to select zones in here, and they'll fly over. In fact, the changes. So let's go up into the table and let's pick one row and set that whole row to, like, I don't know, 50. And then so let's smooth that out. So yeah, smooth that guy out there. Let's set our smooth strength to like 5.
Give you a number as you. Is that a bug or?
No, it's something that we need to add. If you hover,
it starts at 0.
If you hover, you'll see the number, and then the smooth. Just hit smooth.
I only selected 2 rows, but it's smooth.
No, it just changed the colors.
Oh, it just changed the colors?
Yeah, because it's heat mapped.
Okay. That's a function that hasn't been available in CMR. That's very useful.
Mm-hmm. So let's rescale this XY, or renormalize it. What are you looking for in order to find that?
Normally,
function?
well, I mean, normally it's Control Z. Usually brings up the normalizer for that value.
So click on the name of the thing that you want to renormalize, the column name.
Okay, that's nice because it gives you the 0. It gives you the 0 to 255.
So let's add a new tuning board here. And then what I want you to do is I want you to drag, or I want you to open. I want you to open all of the scalars in that new tuning board.
Decimals and the binary switches, I think, are no good.
Why is that?
Because binary switches, you're turning something on and off, it's 0 or 1. Like it doesn't lead somebody to that to switch. It leads to somebody that's a parameter.
So besides that, there's other ways that I've seen other tuning.
I'd rather them say on or off.
Would you rather them say?
Yeah.
Okay. Why?
Because it's just easier to process. You know.
How about?
I don't mind zeros and ones.
So
be perfectly honest.
And that's okay. What about if you're tabbing through a bunch of them? How does that control work? If you're, let's say they're all, on-offs, and you're going to tab through 5 of them and go, off, 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 off.
I don't think it's ever a good idea to leave somebody to just shut a bunch of stuff off.
I'm just asking about workflow. I mean, so you pull down menus and toggles and things like. I mean, how do you?
I wouldn't want to see menus or toggles. The simplest way is 0 or 1,
0
or on or off. But I mean, depending on what scaler you're in, it could be equipped or not equipped. So that's why 0 and 1 is
Right.
very universal. Like it's either 0 or it's 1.
They're flickering it at me to get my attention. Okay, so let's move on then.
I think for hardware switches should be 0 and 1.
0 and 1. Okay. So we got that. So you got all your scalars there, and we're working on some of the layouts where it might wrap around or whatever. But right now, it just goes all up and down.
I like the layout better that goes across.
You like the cross layout?
Yeah, I really do.
Okay.
This looks a lot like SCT, and I hate it.
Which part looks like SCT?
Just the way everything is like all in one spot on the side.
Okay, the
way I tune. So you got tables, functions, scalars. Like table when I'm working with tables and functions, I open up the whole thing on the left.
Right.
And then when I do my scalars, I go in and I right click on the top and open all the scalars at once. Done. And they're across the screen. So you just get a broader view of what's available. Like one of the things I don't like about the other suites is that everything is it's not centralized. It's like you have a tab for fuel and you have a tab, for speed density or even HP tuners. You go in, you click the fuel tab, and then it's got all these sub tabs, and they're all laid out on the screen. You can never get a picture of everything that needed to be changed to make that file what it was. Like I can go through and audit a file with CMR currently, and just look at all the red dots and tables. Like I know all these tables were changed.
Mm-hmm.
All the dots and functions, and if I want to audit them, they're already highlighted for me what tables I've changed, and I just click on that table because, perfect example, there's some things that CMR does when you apply a cal file that'll make the engine not run.
Mm-hmm.
Like it changes, there's some math issue and it changes the torque difference scalar.
Okay.
And it rescales it and it puts a 0 in the bottom. You go to start the car, it won't even start. So I mean, there's bugs in cal files, and I'm saying
sure.
with this type of layout or HP tuners or SCT, you can't easily identify what the problem is.
Let's open a new file. Let's load a different calibration here.
You know what? Let's load a Hellcat.
Yeah, load a tune, not a backup file.
Okay.
So you're in the TCM area right now. Okay, go to the controller one. Or better yet, new tuning section. There you go. Now load.
I'm going to do a Hellcat. Is this a...
yeah, it should be a tune.
104, it should be.
What's that? No, you're good. Back. Hit OK.
Takes a while to load.
That's just.
Oh, it's just
yeah.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with the reality. This is pre-production stuff. Like I said, we got this going just for what we're doing today.
Gotcha.
All right, so now hit show changed parameters.
They look highlighted already.
Yeah, you should only see the green ones are click it and then click it again. There you go. So that's only what's been changed.
Okay. That's neat.
All right, so let's go to the next step. Let's close the software and reopen it.
Close the entire software?
Close the entire software and reopen it. And then I want you to add a new gauge panel. And I want you to open a data log. And go up one folder, and it's going to be in the logs folder. Now I want you to pinch and zoom on that. And then I want you to dock that in the gauge panel. So there's some boxes that show up. Let's try that again. Grab that window. Is it obvious to you where the docking items are?
Not.
So click that again, and click the top here. There's this little box that comes up. Click and hold. See this?
Mm-hmm.
Drag that to right there.
Drag.
What would have made it more obvious to you that was what those items did? That they nested it inside this gauge panel.
I'm not really sure. Well, it'd make it more obvious if there was a parameter tree to the left. But again, that's just being used to what?
So there is. So let's.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, all of these laying over each other is kind of weird to deal with. Like the fact that the text.
Okay, so the text is well. This is just kind of showing you if like maximum if you added everything into it. Let's do a new one. We'll go to this gauge panel, the gauge panel 1 that you created. Add 3 gauges and a strip chart. And then dock that strip chart inside the gauge panel. And then let's change the PID in each of those gauges and add 3 PIDs to the strip chart. And the right click isn't enabled, so there's some other ways to. What would make it obvious that you could drag a PID over to that gauge? What would you expect to see that would tell you could do that?
I'd expect to see. I don't know what would tell me that I could drag one over here. I mean, what would be obvious if there was a little bar up here that said drag parameter over.
So drag a PID to each of those, and then add 3 PIDs to that strip chart.
Three PIDs to the strip chart?
Mm-hmm. And then go ahead and pinch to zoom out. Okay. Go over to in the Hellcat stuff. Go to the open up that Hellcat file again.
The tuning file.
Yeah, open up a tuning file. Go to home. You gotta open it up. Open the tune file. Load calibration.
So even though I had one, even though I had
We
it
closed
open,
out, remember? We did.
Okay.
We closed the software down. So then just select that Hellcat and go look at the flex fuel tables. Brian's been working his butt off on them.
that's why I was chuckling at the fuel air and fuel air for story, because now they in a Hellcat they're only one. They're only one parameter, and he opened it up to all 5. You can do up to 5 and add it all 5.
Oh, he did.
Yeah, I saw it.
You already saw that.
I saw that. That's why I
what that
chuckled.
was. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So while we're waiting for that, I have a couple follow-up questions, and then we had to reschedule someone, so they're coming back, and then anyway, go take a peek at that real quick. If you go to the toolbox, yeah, and then go to your tuning board.
Toolbox.
Tuning
Oh, so you can have the data logging and the tuning board open in the same.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's something that's really helpful,
Mm-hmm.
because even with HP, if you're going to tune, you want to flash or look, you have to disconnect the interface from the logging software. Go from scanner over into VCM, make your edits, flash your file, flip back over,
Right.
and then connect.
Right.
It requeries the vehicle.
Right.
We add a flat. Yes, there we go. Now, can you open this whole thing?
Drag it on over.
Is this a bug, or you just can't drag them?
You can't move them around yet. Not yet. You can't move those inside the board yet.
Okay,
but you'll be able to eventually.
Eventually,
Yeah,
will you be able to?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry if I made you have to reschedule somebody.
No, it's not your fault.
I didn't mean to be late.
Yeah, they were coming in at 2:45, and then we had rescheduled them to be after you, and then he's coming, and it's no big deal though. We'll work through it. So anyway, that's what I wanted to show you. So here I'm going to ask you some follow-up questions now. Number one, what features do you think still need to be added here?
I don't think I've had enough time with it to say.
Well, one of them I think you were saying is the binary or the
crossyear
comparisons.
Crossyear comparisons, of course.
Or OS comparison. What about what's the favorite thing what do you think is really cool here that's new, that's your favorite new thing we've done?
The fact that the data logging and calibration and the TCM, that you could open everything on one. In one program?
One program. What do you think we need to do the most work on still, from what you've seen?
I think for just playing with it for 10 minutes, I think it was reasonably. It was able to reasonably lead me into, okay, this is kind of what it takes to add this or open that. So I think.
What do you think was kind of rough yet, or the things that you thought maybe could be better? Because we need to know that so we can do better.
The most general thing I could say is it needs to be as easy to drive as CMR. CMR is the easiest software to drive out of anything I've ever, and I've used everything from Motec to Bosch to Holly to HP tuners, a variety of these things. Inca. CMR has always been the easiest to drive, and the most information in one spot.
Right.
As far as like working on a calibration.
Right.
Easy to see what was changed. Easy, like it does it all for you. You don't have to ask it to do it. If you open up, if I open up a tune file, it automatically compares it to a stock file and tells me what's been changed. So in the first 10 seconds of it opening, I already have an overview of what I'm up against.
Right. Right. So, okay.
I think it's important not to lose that.
No, I don't think we want to.
Do this have, how good are the descriptions?
Well, the descriptions are an issue of the template, not the software. So, and we've updated all of them. So all those will have at least something in the description. You can see the description on the bottom left there.
Right, but now I'm clicking on a parameter and it's not changing.
You're clicking in the parameter. Maybe try and click off to the side there. Hover.
Okay, so it'll tell you that. Well, it's just, it's still.
So I mean, but again, we're working through those. Those are things that like maybe you can help us with.
Tuning guide.
Yeah.
No one's really made a tuning guide.
Which brings me to my next question. What's something we should do in this software? What's a feature that we should do no one else has?
Feature that you should do that no one else has. I'm just trying to think what. I'm trying to go through the steps of what everyone else has individually and how that could be collectively boxed into.
Well, and the stuff that everyone has right now, we're doing our best to benchmark and figure out. And I think you're seeing a lot of those things already coming true here. We have way more work to do, and we have way more coming up. But what are those things that we always wish we could do, but nobody's done yet? Nobody's ever been able to quite get there yet.
Live changes.
Live tuning. Excellent. Okay, so last group of things I'm going to do is I'm going to throw out some feature sets, and I want you to tell me 1 to 5, 5 being best, 5 being most important, 1 being least important. How important are these features for excellent tuning software and to be the best? So number 1, cell tracing.
5 is most important?
Yes.
Yeah. Cell tracing?
Yeah.
Cell tracing from data log
yeah.
is absolutely just, that is the number 1 thing that Holly does an amazing job.
They're really good at it. Yeah.
Especially, you're on a dyno, time is money. But there's nothing like being between rounds at the track. And to be like, I can go with a pro stock car, I can download the log out and play it. Watch it go through the whole map. Right there. I mean, that, no one has that for OEM modification software. No one has that.
How about data logging inside the same app as your editor? How important is that overall?
I'd say that would be like a 3 out of 5.
3 out of 5. How about the bi-directional controls?
As far as
so think in HP tuners, they have the bi-directional control with their VCM scanner, holding gear, or all those things, all those messages it can do, all the little things it can do while you're on the dyno. 5.
Yeah.
Okay. How about virtual VE tables in GM or in similar?
For GM and Ford, I think it's very important. You're not going to do it for Chrysler because they don't do it that way.
No, right, I know.
Yeah, they can't. Yeah. But it's very important.
About a 5?
That's a 5. 5. One thing, and I don't know if this falls under virtual VE or not. So HP tuners in Scanner has the histogram.
Histograms.
So, but it's more important than just the histogram. The fact that I could take the histogram and set it up the exact same as a table, and then take the differences from the histogram, highlight them, right-click,
paste differences.
Paste. Yeah. I mean
those are all in plan for us. Paste differences in percent and numbers and all those things. And the histogram is something we're looking
But
at.
the other thing that would be amazing is to tie the histogram to the say I'm tuning VE, tie the histogram to the VE table so that as if it would be the closest to live tuning that you could get. Because, so if I'm hovered over a cell, but I'm actually in the VE table, and then I could right click and then, you know, bump up in percentage. Well, now when I load that file my next time, like I can meet, like I can't see the change live, but I have the next best thing.
Right.
Because I'm editing it live.
Editing it as it's happening.
I'm editing as it's happening.
Yep.
And that would be huge. Because especially from the Dodge standpoint, from the 2011 and up stuff, everything is neural network.
Right.
So all these VE tables that you see, even when we turn the neural network off and we start mapping, we have no VE tables to work with. You're doing everything from scratch.
Right.
So being able to edit that live, even if it's not making a live change, being able to edit it live.
To look at it and make the change while you're doing it, and see the car reacting. Oh yeah, I need to tweak that a little bit, and then next time you do it, then your next run, it's a little bit closer. That's cool.
Another thing I'd like to see for the Chryslers is so up until they changed the software for the diagnostic, your adaptive memory, those 26 cells, in the dealer scan tool, you're always able to go into those cells live, and while you're driving the car, drive the car into those cells and update them. And then I made an Excel spreadsheet that would take those changes and copy them and paste them into the VE.
Interesting.
And then I copy the VE and then paste it into CMOS. If you want to see that stuff, I have it on my laptop. I can show it to you.
That's killer.
I have a thing for injector scaling.
Okay.
Make an injector scaler tool. Because what you do with the injector scaler.
So that's kind of where I was going to go. That's one of the questions. So we have a thing called a Cal Wizard, which is a thing that does just that: injector scaling, or tire size changes, or stuff that happens often. That formulaic stuff that
Yeah, I think that's
a UI to do that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I think that's
how important. 1 to 5.
5.
How important is having starter files, value files,
5.
combo files? Okay.
Well, if to sell to the masses, and I think nothing that's important is individual vehicle licensing for CMR.
Yeah, license, of course. That's
so that an end user
can do it. Yeah. That's in plan. How important would it be to have a simplified list of your top PIDs versus the extended list and being able to toggle between them?
I think everything available should be selectable all the time, and then you make templates, base templates, so that somebody can get started. Like we have the drop down for the dashes now, but I think any PIDs that are available should be available. I know that we can't put whole A2Ls into the parameters because you can't have,
it's crazy.
You can't have 93,000 calibratable variables available to the end user. But if there's 2,000 PIDs, you should, because there are people like me that might look at an SRD and want to pick those PIDs so I can calibrate throttle body airflow or VE table or diesel fuel cutoff.
Right.
For doing the more intricate work like EO work or something like that.
Okay.
I'd want the PIDs. Like anything that's in a RAM list, I'd love to see as an available PID.
Okay. How about a basic tune mode versus advanced tune mode?
I think that's important for doing the individual vehicle licensing.
Okay.
This way, because when you have a lot of stuff, it's easy for a novice to get lost. I think you should be able to let them choose their comfort level.
So 1 to 5.
That's a 5.
5. Okay. Excellent. So that's it. I mean, this is where we're at so far today. we got a long way to go. But we're really trying to do some things that are, all those questions about kind of what, those questions. How important is this? That's where do we spend our time, and what else do we need to do, and all that. So
The biggest suggestion I could give anybody for making interfaces like this is think about if you were going to train people on a mass level, what would give you the least amount of topics to have to cover to train the people? Does that make sense? And the more layers you add to the software, the harder it would be to train them, and the more money you're going to spend on tech support over the long term. So if it's simple to train, it's simple to use.
excellent.
I train anybody how to tune their individual car in 3 to 5 days. I do it now. A lot of my Hellcat clients are very,
They want to do it
they want to
themselves.
mess with their cars themselves. So they buy HP tuners. And I have to, it puts me in a tough situation because I have to take their Diablo stuff. I flip it over for them so that they're not learning how to exploit whatever is exploitable. And then now instead of them bringing me their data logs, they bring me their data logs, but I ask them questions like you're questioning me on this. You're trying to pull out of me what my thoughts are based on my interaction. I do the same to them. Like, okay, well, you want to pick up 2/10. What do you think you change?
Right.
When the guy says, "Oh, I'm going to try 10 degrees timing," like, you might not want to try 10. You might want to try half a degree or a degree and a half. So it's along the same lines.
Yeah, no, that's excellent advice. I really appreciate that. So, we got one more that I have to hit, and then they're going to kick us out of here. So, if you want to join me here, I appreciate it.
Oh,
and then we'll
again, I apologize for.
No problem at all.